Hey guys, Scott Berry here with Drew Epperly from Berry Law Offices, and today we wanted to discuss more on the continuing series of the best interest factors that the courts and attorneys use to make decisions relating to custody and parenting time. And today we're going to be discussing factor number one. And Drew, can you tell us a little bit about factor number one?
Sure. Factor number one is your child's physical, emotional, cultural, or spiritual needs and how the proposed arrangement may alter those.
Now, specifically, let's back up for a second. When we're looking at factor one, how important is factor one as it relates to the other 12 or the other 11 factors?
Sure. Factor one is given the exact same weight as factor two, as factor three, and so forth and so on. All of them make up the total that is the 12. No one is preferred.
Okay, so the courts need to analyze all of them and can't say, well, I'm only going to rely on this factor.
Sure. We'll talk about it more when we get to factor six, but the history and nature of the care used to be given a lot more deference than others. This is kind of backed off that theory, and now each factor is given its own equal amount that doesn't supersede or fall behind any other.
All right, so Drew, when the court's looking at these factors and when you're applying these factors, is the court looking at the parent's needs or the child's needs?
Plain and simple, the court really isn't concerned with what the parents need or want and are solely focused on what that child needs to develop, grow, and really flourish.
In fact, now there's actually case law, right, that talks specifically about this, where a mom, for example, had brought the child to like an ECFE
Sure.
class and really focused on the safety and security of the child, as opposed to a dad who came and presented to the court that I need the child in my life.
Yeah, right.
And that's a problem, right?
It is. I mean, that's going to be, a parent's downfall. If they go into this process concerned with their own needs, they're going to be really dissatisfied with the results.
Okay, so when we're really looking at the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs, we're really looking at those child's needs, not at the parents.
100% children.
Okay. So tell us, what are things that people should be looking at then when trying to establish or trying to gather information that relates to those needs?
So when I'm putting together an analysis of the best interest factors, and I'm looking at factor one, I need to know how that kid's eating throughout the day. I'm needing to know who's putting the child to bed, providing help for homework, getting them to and from activities, simple things such as reading them a bedtime story, keeping them in their routine. That's the physical things I'm looking at. When we get into emotional, it's, if the kid has a rough day at school, who's that child going to come home, cuddle up to and say, I'm having these problems, I don't understand this, I'm feeling this way. Which parent can the child confide in? In the spiritual concept, it doesn't really matter what the parent's religion is or was. All that really matters is keeping the child in a routine. If the child has been brought up in one denomination, it's important that child stay comfortable and continue and see that through until that child decides otherwise.
So continuing that. So if they were going to, for example, VBS during the summer, or Awana, or Sunday school, or church on a weekly basis, continuing what that spiritual growth or spiritual education is going
Absolutely.
to be.
It's all about growth. It's all about development. You certainly don't want to do anything that's going to stunt any of your child's development in those areas.
So I hope this video has been helpful. We're going to continue on our series on the best interest factors, next moving to factor number two. But if you have any questions concerning this, feel free to reach out and let us know.